Hey, welcome back. We are in episode 80 for season 2. My name is Misheard Song Lyrics, and I want to talk about a first ever Go West Misheard song lyric. So the misheard lyric is, "And I deny the jizz in my eyes." And the correct lyrics is, "And I deny the tears in my eyes." So this week's episode 80 Misheard Song Lyric does make you want to do a double take. And it comes from one of my favorite songs on the Pretty Woman soundtrack and also featured in the film. You know, Pretty Woman, for those of you that are a little young, that it came way before your even birth date. It's the 1990 retelling of a modern day Cinderella, but this time the Cinderella is what they would call then a prostitute, today's standards, sex worker, played by up-and-coming young actress named Julia Roberts, and her Prince Charming, also known as the John, and rich white dude, played by touch of gray actor Richard Gere. There you go. So ironically, the song "The King of Wishful Thinking" is a 1990 song by British pop duo Go West, written by Peter Cox, that's spelled Cox, I know where you're going there, and Richard Drummie and Martin Page. Okay, it was later featured on Go West's third studio album called Indian Summer in 1992. And then the song reached number 3 in Canada, number 6 in Australia, number 8 in the US, and number 18 in the UK. So the first question to those of you who don't know who Go West is, who is Go West? So they're an English pop duo formed in 1982 by lead vocalist, like I said earlier, Peter Cox, and rhythm guitarist and backing vocalist Richard Drummie. The music was the work of Martin Page, who also co-wrote the number 1 hits, "We Built This City on Rock and Roll," and Starship, and "These Dreams by Heart," which I've tried to sing once. It's really hard. So a lot of, big time songwriters in this song itself. So according to songfacts.com, Go West had a few hits in their native England, but had not broken through the American charts as we know today. He said in his interview per Page, quote unquote, "America, I thought I would accept a little bit," Page said, okay, let's start over. According to songfacts.com, Go West had a few hits in their native England, but had not broken through in America. Page, who is also English, wanted to change that. He says, quote unquote, "I wanted to make Go West have a little bit of an edge for America," he said in our interview. "America, I thought, would accept a little bit of funky soul from them. And with Pete Cox's vocals, you can't go wrong." Pete Cox can sing. He's an extraordinary vocalist, and when you've got a singer like that getting on the mic and playing with your melodies, you're pretty fortunate. I do agree. The first, did you know, was when Martin Page helped write this song with both Pete Cox and Richard Drummie. He actually used what he said blended the Minnesota Prince sound. So there's Mr. Prince with a Motown feel to assemble the soundtrack. There was another influence as well, as he stated in the interview with songfacts.com. He said, there was a song by the Fine Young Cannibals at that time called "She Drives Me Crazy." I remember that song. It really had what he was looking for, the sound-wise. In those days, you sat down and you listened a great deal to the charts, as I know they do now, and you'd think, well, what do I really like and what really will work with this? I could hear the Fine Young Cannibals track, and I thought I could hear Go West killing a song like that. And even that song had a kind of Prince feel about it, retroactive tempo and used to it. So I used that a little bit as a template for building a song for them. So that's interesting that the song of King of Wishful Thinking was kind of, again, meshed together from Fine Young Cannibals, "She Drives Me Crazy," and some influence of the funky side of Prince. At the 1986 Brit Awards, they actually received, Go West, the Brit Award for British Breakthrough Artist. I did not know that. They also enjoyed popularity between the mid-1980s and the early 1990s, and are best known for their international top 10 hits, "We Close Our Eyes," "Call Me," "Faithful," and of course, "King of Wishful Thinking," which, like I said earlier, was part of the 1990 film Pretty Woman. So let's talk about the history of who Go West is. So back in 1982, Cox and Drummie formed the band Go West, with Cox as the lead singer and Drummy on guitar and backing vocals. So if you see Drummy in the video, which we'll be talking in a bit, he's always with a guitar, and he has, in most cases, his ponytail and hair in a ponytail. He almost, at first, when I first saw him on the video, I'm like, is that? At first I thought it was Kenny G, but I was wrong. So like I said, they formed in 1982. They had a publishing deal and possessed a what they call a porta studio, but they lacked a band or recording company. So Cox and Drummy decided, with support from John Glover, their manager, to find a company and a musical producer and record just two of their songs. The tracks were "We Close Our Eyes" and "Call Me," not the Blondie "Call Me," but their "Call Me." So Go West landed a recording contract with Chrysalis Records. That's a pretty big deal. Chrysalis is pretty big. So once that happened, Go West's debut single, "We Close Our Eyes," was released in 1985 and reached number 5 on the UK singles chart. So number 5 on the US Dance Club Play chart and number 41 on the Billboard Hot 100. So they broke the US Billboard chart. Awesome. That video at that time for the song was directed by none other than Godley and Cream, and became also an early favorite on MTV. Now remember, for those of you who've been following along, all these episodes, we're in 80 now, that I mentioned Godley and Cream way back when I had my guest Tal, and we talked about, it was episode 24 when we covered the Police's "Don't Stand So Close to Me," or Tal's Misheard song was "Don't Smack Those Books on Me." They had redone the video with the Police with a more subdued version. So that's why I mentioned Godley and Cream back in episode 24. Wow. Godley and Cream, for those of you who don't know, was an English rock duo formed in Manchester back in 1977 by Kevin Godley and Lol Cream. It's funny because the name is spelled LOL, like what we know today of laughing out loud. The pair began releasing music as a duo after they departed from the rock band 10cc. And then 1970, they actually started directing their first music video with the single "An Englishman in New York" with Sting. After this, they became more involved in the production of videos for artists such as The Police, of course, I mentioned early. Yes, Duran Duran, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Relax, Don't Do It When You Want to Come. Ooh, it's full circle with the jizz in the eyes. Wang Chung, everybody Wang Chung tonight, as well as directing the groundbreaking video for their 1985 single "Cry." The duo, I'm talking about Godley and Cream, actually split at the end of the 1980s. Both have been still involved in music videos, TV commercials, and some music projects, but they're not a duo anymore. So back to our friends Go West. So their song "We Close Our Eyes" would prove to be the band's highest placed UK and their only appearance in the UK charts top 10. And then the duo's debut album was released in 1985. It included "We Close Our Eyes," "Call Me," not the Blondie version, as well as "Don't Look Down," which served as the prequel to what would be their top 40 hit in the US. The album peaked at number 8 in the UK. Bangs and Crashes was an album of theirs of remixes, B-sides, and live tracks, and was released in 1986 and included the song "One Way Street," which was part of the Rocky 9 soundtrack? Rocky 4 soundtrack. And I actually looked it up on Google and found it on YouTube. And I'm like, oh, I remember the song. Totally forgot about it. So yeah, they seem to have a penchant for soundtracks, which, hey, if it pays the bills, I'd be writing songs for soundtracks, right? Go West was then voted as Best Newcomer, like I said earlier, at the 1986 Brit Awards. Now we're going to 1987. They released the follow-up to their debut album, "Dancing on the Couch," which made the UK top 20. Although several singles were released, the album's success paled in comparison to the first, particularly in the States. However, it yielded the band's first American top 40 hit single, "Don't Look Down," the sequel. I don't know that song. And then in 1990, Go West had a number hit in the US with "King of Wishful Thinking," what we're talking about now, again, in relation with this film Pretty Woman. And with this collaboration that Cox and Drummy wrote in collection with Martin Page, which we talked about earlier, his background of writing major songs as well. The song received an ASCAP award, so big award. And then in 1992, Go West released the Indian Summer album, which included the song "Faithful," written by the band, and again, Martin Page, and produced by Peter Wolf, not the actor Peter Wolf. The song reached the top 20 in the UK, Canada, and the US. So let's talk about what is this song about, okay? And if you haven't heard it, seen it, listen, just Google it. You'll find it on YouTube. So the song reminds me of another song back in the 60s called Build Me Up Buttercup, where it has this infectious, happy sound. It sounds nice and airy, but when you listen to the words, it's really about heartbreak and kind of sad. So in this case, Cox plays a singer, and the I guess the man in this part of the song where he's lost his girlfriend and is in the state of willful denial, telling himself, you know what, even though he's all torn up with his heartbreak inside, he's going to keep telling himself that everything will be fine, thus making him the king of wishful thinking. And pull up the lyrics, watch the video, and you'll see it's like this fun, I don't need, na, 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 and this fun bouncy music part, but the lyrics itself is sad. How did it become part of the Pretty Woman soundtrack? Because I actually still have, I'm dating myself, and I love to date myself a lot, the actual CD, compact disc of Pretty Woman, and it's in there. It was not written for the film. Apparently, Go Wes's record at the time, EMI, so they must have moved from Chrysalis to EMI, was associated with the soundtrack. And so when the executives heard the demo, they asked to use it. Well, if an executive comes to me and says, we want to use your song to an upcoming movie, why not if I'm getting paid? The song itself, of course, didn't make any much sense in context with the film, but they liked the fresh sound. So there's that fresh sound that helped carry the scene and boost sales of the soundtrack, which also featured the song by Roxette, hit Must Have Been Love, and It's Over Now. Remember that song, Must Have Been Love, to over 3 million. And exposure to the movie also starts, the single of their song, which boosted up around the same time. So the film actually far exceeded expectations. I remember when I went to see it, I was a mere 18, guys, 18. And it was like, oh, this is cute. Another kind of Cinderella story, but now we're dealing with a sex worker. And it actually was really cute and done well, and made Julia Roberts instant mega star. And after that, she was in like almost every movie for the next 10, 15 years. And because the movie did so well, it took about 178 million in America on its way to becoming the most popular rom-com or romantic comedy of its era. It's, of course, since now with numbers doesn't compare, but 1990, yeah, it did really well. And as the movie gained an audience, so did this song, King of Wishful Thinking. And I loved it when I would listen to it on CD. I'm like, I don't know what this one-hit wonder is, but I love it. Again, all about heartbreak. The film was released back in March of 1990. I remember it because it was right before my 18th birthday. And in June, the song entered the top 40. It slowly rose to the chart, peaking in August at number 8. So it made the top 10 in our US charts. So let's talk about the video, right? Okay, watch it. I don't know what budget was given or if there was a budget at all, but it has this stark white background and Julia Roberts look-alike, a pretty woman in the red dress in one part, is opening up the stretch limo for both Cox and Drummy coming out. It's as if they filmed the video at a casting call, like, hey, we're at a casting call. We might as well just make a video while we're here. Because they have everything from zebras walking by, a huge elephant doing some dancing moves in the middle, mariachi band. Of course you need a mariachi band. Roy Orbison look-alike. Many things. And while he's, gleefully singing this song about heartbreak and what sounds like jizz in his eyes. The cool thing is back in 2018, so 3 years ago already, I found on the internet, find it as well, I have the links to this, that Jimmy Fallon of the Late Night Show fame and his bestie, Paul Rudd, who I just adore. He's like a Steve Guttenberg of our time. Remember Steve Guttenberg, Cocoon, all those movies? I love him. Did a wonderful frame-by-frame spoof of the video down to the high-waisted jeans, white tank top, and ponytail back, like I said, in 2018. So if you haven't seen this gem, watch it. And I've noticed they're both doing a lot of that with songs like this from the 90s or mid to late 80s and redoing it. So please enjoy it. Hopefully you learned a lot. I did. I'm so glad it's not about jizz in my eyes because, from what I've heard, it hurts. It really does. I mean, it stings, okay? It's not. It's really, I deny the tears in my eyes. And I hope all of you who haven't seen Pretty Woman after this will watch it because it's a great, like I said, Cinderella story of the 90s, I guess. So if you have any great suggestions like I've had in the past with listeners, send them to Misheard, that's Misheard, songs@gmail.com. You can also send it to us on our social media sites as Twitter, Facebook, as well as Instagram. And if it's something that we like, we might just cover it. So please keep singing those songs wrong, but